Mark Harlan was 46, vice president of operations at a mid-sized logistics firm, and he wore his success like a perfectly tailored suit, sharp, expensive, and increasingly tight around the chest. His days began at 5:30 a.m. with emails, and ended after 9 p.m. with more emails. And in between, meetings, metrics, and the quiet hum of a life measured in quarterly reports. He had the corner office, the leased Audi, the house in the city, with a view no one had time to enjoy. He told himself this was the path. He told himself he was winning. This is what he had always wanted, what he had dreamed of since college. Then came a Tuesday, in early spring, when his body finally spoke louder than his ambition. He was mid-sentence on a Zoom call, something about supply chain efficiencies, when pain bloomed, sharp, sudden, across his left shoulder, down his arm. The room tilted, his vision blurred, a low hum, then nothing. The ambulance came. His assistant must have called. The ER doctor called it stress-induced angina. A warning shot. Nothing more. Rest, they said. Reduce stress. Take it easy. Mark let out a quiet, dry laugh. Take it easy? He had a board presentation in 10 days. But the scare lingered, like smoke after a fire. His wife, Elena, insisted he take the week off.
Go see your dad. You haven't been there in months. Go breathe air that doesn't smell like printer ink. You used to love the outdoors.
I'm right here with you.
His father, Robert, was 78, retired for a decade, and still moved with the deliberate slowness of someone who had never rushed through life. The backyard was his domain, a modest plot of earth, wooden fence, roses climbing the trellis, vegetables in neat rows, an apple tree dropping petals like quiet confetti. When Mark arrived, Robert was already outside, faded overalls, kneeling, pruning shears in hand.
Thought you'd be in a suit.
Come on, help me with these roses. They're getting leggy.
Mark hesitated. His hands were soft, manicured for handshakes, not soil. But he knelt anyway. Awkward at first, then slowly, following his father's lead. Clip here, angle the cut, remove the dead wood so the living can breathe. They worked in near silence, just the soft snip of shears and the occasional bird call. Robert talked about the roses, like old friends, how one bloomed crimson every June without fail, how another needed extra lime or it sulked. Mark listened, or rather, he realized he had forgotten how. His version of listening had always been different. Meetings while checking emails, conversations while thinking ahead, letting AI take notes so he could review later. He thought he was a great listener, but here, with his father, he noticed something strange. Actually listening felt like rest. Later, they sat on the porch. Robert pointed to a small tomato plant, young, leaves stretching open, like tiny green flags.
Planted that last month. Nothing fancy. Just good dirt, sun, water, patience. It'll give me a dozen fruits, if I'm lucky. That's enough.
Mark stared at the plant. Enough. The word felt foreign. In his world, enough was never the goal. It was the starting line. That evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the garden gold, Robert handed him a small pot, soil already packed.
Take this home. Start your own. One plant. See what happens.
Mark almost refused. His balcony, glass and steel, 12 floors up, more skyline than soil. But he took it, carefully, holding it like something fragile. Back in the city, he placed the plant on the corner of his balcony table, next to the unused grill, next to the herbs Elena had bought years ago and forgotten. He watered it daily, not out of duty, but curiosity. He watched the leaves stretch, watched yellow flowers appear, watched tiny green orbs grow, slowly, day by day. Weeks passed. Work eased, just a little. He delegated more, left earlier. The angina didn't return, but something else did. A quiet, persistent question. What if the ladder I've been climbing is leaning against the wrong wall? Summer arrived, slow, heavy. One morning, coffee in hand, he stepped onto the balcony and saw it. The first ripe tomato, deep red, heavy on the vine. He picked it carefully, warm from the sun, held it in his palm. He took a bite, right there. No plate, no salt, no preparation, just the fruit as it was. The taste, bright, alive, sweet with a trace of earth, rain, time. It wasn't the best tomato in the world, but in that moment, it was perfect. It was enough. He sat down, looked out over the city. Cars moved below, like distant insects. Lights flickered in far-off windows, and for the first time in years, nothing felt urgent. Success had always meant more responsibility, more money, more proof he mattered. But this was different. One plant, one red fruit, one quiet bite that filled something in him no promotion ever had. He thought of his father, pruning roses, not for applause, not for recognition, just to see them bloom. He remembered the question from that hospital room. Is this really what you want? The answer wasn't dramatic. No resignation, no big escape, just a shift. Small, quiet, inward. He started saying no to extra work, to things that didn't matter. He took walks at lunch. He planted more. Basil, peppers, another tomato. Elena joined them sometimes. They ate dinner on the balcony, bare feet, cool tile, city humming, far away. Mark Harlan was still vice president. The suit still fit. But something inside him had loosened, like dead wood, cut away, so the living parts could grow. And every time he tasted a tomato, warm, imperfect, he remembered. Sometimes enough isn't a destination. It's a moment. You stop long enough to taste. What if the deepest success isn't the climb, but the pause that lets you finally feel the ground beneath you? What is something small or big in your life that is already enough if you slowed down just long enough to notice?